Good night, everybody. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Everyone, let me know that you're hearing me. Good night, everybody. Before I continue, I just really want to make sure you guys are hearing me. I don't want to do like the last time where I was talking for 2 minutes and you guys could not hear me. Just let me just know in the chat that you guys can hear me. Good night, everybody. As usual, drop your big tree in the chat. Just love to always see the energy that is here, that is joining us. As always, welcome to another episode on the Growth Project podcast. Your favorite space right now, your favorite educational space on the internet. Like, tell me it's your favorite space right now, where we learn about astrology. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Charisse. I go on the internet as Charisse Fierce. And I love sharing my love for astrology with all of you. A lot of you guys, most of you guys here are here for our guest and our resident astrologer teacher. And she was one of the first people who just really helped me understand astrology and really went full depth into astrology and really not convinced me, but just made me believe in astrology so much more. Before meeting Umi, I was just studying by myself. I knew astrology made sense. Everything was hitting, but the way that she broke it down just hit 10 times more. And I'm always happy to have her on here. So loving the big trees in the chat. Keep it up. But welcome to another episode on the Growth Project podcast. As you guys know, the podcast goal is always to educate, elevate, empower, and enrich each of our lives. Empower us for us to be able to do the things that we came here to do and for us to live the life that we want. So whether it's through astrology, whether it's through advice, coaching, mastering our mind, this is the type of content that you can always find on the Growth Project. So today's episode, can astrology help us recognize our soulmate? That is my big question for Umi Jenevieve today, and she's going to be coming on and answering that and really diving into the placements of Jupiter and Juno and what it means for our soulmates, what it means for our marriage, and what it means for our marriage, our marriage type, and the type of spouse that we are attracted to. So all of my girlies and guys out there who are single, who are looking, or in a relationship right now who wants to know, are they the one? That is what we're going to be figuring out tonight. So join me, everyone, in welcoming the one, the only, the genius, Umi Jenevieve. Give me some fake claps. I hate that we don't have like sounds on here because I wanted to be like, yay.
I felt like I was coming in like Mayweather.
Yeah, we need music. Like, I'm gonna see for the next time how what we can do. I need some music. I need some claps. Like, I just need it to be more hype when you come on. Like, it needs to be like a boxing match.
Stop. I'm shy.
Thank you guys for the claps. Thank you for the claps in the chat. No, I really need for it to be like, you know, like when they're boxing and they're coming through.
I was coming in like Mayweather.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's how I need for it. That's how I need you to come through, because that's what you mean to us. So I'm gonna let you just say your hi as usual.
As always, thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you for the confirmations. Thank you for the support. You guys continue to push me, keep me going in this. I want to go further. So thank you to each and every one of you. You guys have changed my life. You as well, Charisse. Thank you for allowing me to be on the Growth Project. As always, doing this with you, keeping the consistency. So I appreciate you as well. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you to all the people who are constantly here. Like, now, the more that we do this, I'm seeing so much recurring names. You guys are always in the building. Jamila, Lawrence Kitchen, Sincerely. Like, you guys are here. Kimberly, Jennifer, Erica. Like, thank you guys so much for just coming out. Like, these are names that I'm seeing over and over and over and over again. So we're honored. I'm honored for sure. Okay, so let's start. Let's get into it. So we're talking about our soulmates today. We're talking about our spouses, our marriage, our relationships. And I like that when we posted, so when we posted the graphic, people were actually excited. They're like, one of the comments was like, "Oh my God, Christmas came early." I freaking love that one. And it was like, yes, let me come on here to find my man. So I was like, absolutely, come on here. So we're gonna talk about Juno and Jupiter. So we're gonna start with Juno because from research and from me and you talking, you told me that Juno is actually an important placement for when we're looking to find what type of marriage we want to have, or even the spouse, the energy of the spouse, etc. So start by just telling me who is Juno? What is the mythology behind Juno? What does she mean in the chart? What is the significance of Juno in the chart? I know she's an asteroid. I know a lot of people don't really always bring her up, but I just wanted for us to give her a little shine today because it is important when it comes to our relationships and to the marriage. So who's Juno?
So Juno was married to Jupiter. Juno was the protective of the empire. And since Jupiter was like a philanderer, that's why Juno is known to be jealous. So she's protective of her marriage. So Juno and Jupiter go hand in hand. They were married to one another. They were also, in since this was a time where a lot of the incest energy, they're also brother and sister. But in Greek and Roman mythology, Juno and Jupiter are husband and wife. Now, since Jupiter is known to have so many moons, it's in toe and toe with Saturn. It's exalted in Cancer. It even opens up more of the placement of fire coming into the home. So the husband. So Juno was that. And also in Greek mythology, she is called Hera. She's the daughter of Kronos and Rhea. And and Rhea was also the mother of Zeus. And that's why that ancestral energy is there. But that basis there is that she was married to Juno. So when they come together, they show your marriage type.
So earlier, I know we were talking. So in Vedic astrology, they say that Venus rules for a man. Venus actually signifies his wife, and and for a woman, Jupiter actually signifies the husband. But from what you have said and from your findings, you feel like Jupiter and Juno represents our spouse in general, not Venus. So can you talk to us a little bit about how you came to that conclusion?
So with the Jupiter energy, so with the Mars and Venus, that's the dating period. So with your Mars and Venus, that's your initial likes, your initial wants, initially what gets you attracted to this person. And also Mars and Venus aren't husband. They aren't wife. They're more like dating. They're more of how you find your sense of self-expression within your masculinity and your femininity. Jupiter, Juno, now opens up more of that longevity. So those spaces there. So you're going to center more of that. Your Mars and Venus, especially since Mars is impulsive, it could be what initially turns you on. So when you look at Mars, it's what initially turns you on, gets you started, gets you going. So that's the initial parts.
So where does the other houses come into play here? Because, you know, for example, when we're starting to learn astrology, we learn that like our seventh house represents our relationships, and sometimes even like the type of people we get into relationships with, like the sign on our seventh house, like if it's not the sign, like the characteristics of the sign, we usually like are attracted to that in others, etc. So where does the other signs come into where it comes into play? Because we're saying Jupiter, Juno is marriage, but then we have the seventh house, we have the fifth house of dating, we also have like even the eighth house. So how do all of those other houses and like plays into, I guess, like the marriage aspect as well. If you get my question.
So the fifth house is initially the playful period. It's the house of self-love because it's Leo. So it's the house where we learn our dislikes and our likes, because right after the fifth house, we go into the sixth house, which now helps us build our standards, what we will really want to deal with on an everyday basis. So the fifth house is the beginning of that. What gets us playful, going, what we seem to gets us started. Sun energy, what makes us feel identified. So the fifth house is the initial sparks of what gets the relationship going. Now the seventh house is all forms of partnerships. It what makes you align with other people in general. And since the fifth house and the seventh house usually sextile, fire and air, it's just a buildup from fifth to seventh. Because the sixth house is what balances it out, gives your standards, acts as you what you're emotionally and mentally capable of dealing with on an everyday basis, where your habits are. So they'll usually trine. I'm sorry, sextile. My apologies, sextile. So fifth house is what I initially get going, and seventh house is who I attract through that. Now the eighth house squares the fifth house. So now it's time to purge. And that's always happens whenever you go into eighth house dynamics, getting married, having children. It's like soon as that happens, things stop, end, change, transform. Sometimes some relationships can feel like it was before we had kids. We were good. And then once we had kids, once we got married, once we started to merge our finances together, it went left. That's why the dating period can be called the honeymoon period, since it's a sextile from the fifth. But once we get into the eighth, it squares. And the eighth house would just open up the themes where we have to start merging, really diving into how we find resources, our family traumas. We must procreate through two different spaces, shared resources. So that's why it squares the fifth.
So tell me, because, okay. So Jupiter, and this is totally like, I don't even know if this is, we could count this as an astrological question. But I find it very interesting that like Jupiter represents husband and represents our spouse and marriage, but he was like the biggest, what's the word, philanderer? Like he was the biggest fuck boy. Like like Zeus was the worst. Zeus was out here fucking every human. Like there's so much demigods. Like Perseus was like, there's so many because he was so bad. So like, how could he represent marriage? Like, is there, do you know why? Do you know why we consider that? Or because I just find it very interesting that he is what we choose to represent that. Is there any reason why?
Whenever I look at these things, I try to attach them to like real time. So whenever I think of Jupiter, I think of how they say the most men who cheat are married men. I think of also the basis of how we are societally, as a society, feel that men are allowed to have more than one woman. Men are allowed to expand their horizons and expand their territory. And even if you meet Jupiterian men, Pisces men or Sagittarius men, they actually operate that way, where they can have more the merrier. A lot of baby mamas within those two signs, since they're Jupiter ruled. Cancer men, since Jupiter is exalted there as well. So Cancer men are spaces as well where they can open up that fatherly, husbandly, homely energy. But this basis is Jupiter is, when I look at those themes, it's more the themes of how we've really attached the perspective to men, to masculinity. And since Jupiter is all about expanding my horizons, abundance, the gambler, I attach it to those themes. Also, Jupiter is known to have the most moons. It's toe in toe with Saturn. It opens up the galactic center, Sagittarius, that constellation. So it's an energy, it's even attached to the social norms of how we feel like the masculinity is allowed to operate. Now I actually find that Jupiterian dominant individuals can really have that kind of mindset where more is the merrier. Where merging into different types of people, getting into different types of backgrounds is attractive. But all of that is attached to a lot of Hawaii-Asian astrology. So back in the day, Jupiter made a lot of sense. Men were allowed to open up. Men could travel, leave home, really be in spaces where they left all of that to the woman. So Jupiter is an emphasis of how we've let masculine energy operate.
Makes sense. Talk to me a little bit more about the archetype of Juno. Like, let's just go a little bit deeper into her, because reading up on her, it's weird, but she gave me so much Scorpio vibes. Like, she's all about commitment and passion and also like power, right? So like Jupiter cheated on her, or Zeus cheated on her, but she ended up staying with him, like she stayed with him like to keep the power, but also she's very committed. She's very jealous, so she would like be jealous of all the women that he would sleep with. She would spite them. She would do. So I was just like, she gives big Scorpio energy. But talk to me a little bit more about the archetype of Juno, and just like more about what she represents. Just more information about her.
Since she would be connected to Hera, and her father is Kronos in Greek mythology, she would have that basis of being attached to like the moon, being attached to Venus, especially since Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So she would have to be attached to the moon in some capacity, building the home base. So that's more of her archetype, especially since Kronos is her father, Saturn. So she would have to have some type of moon Cancer opposition balance through that. So that's more of her archetype. And that's why she was jealous. She didn't want anyone to come into her home. She was protective of the empire. When you look at your Juno in your chart, it's more of you protect your marriage, your empire, how you really find that balance, that grounding for what works between you and your partnership. Add on your Jupiter to see how this energy aspects. Does it square? Does it trine? Do you want a type of marriage that doesn't make sense to the type of partners that you're picking? Is it squaring? Because that could be a theme as well. Like, I have that kind of Juno and Jupiter. I'm a Virgo, Jupiter and Virgo, and my Juno's in Aquarius. So attracting very practical, mundane, maybe more habitual men, but wanting an open-minded, diverse, unique type of marriage.
So talk to me a little bit more about how Jupiter and Juno intertwines, and what we should actually look for in the chart when we are trying to recognize like the potential qualities of the soulmate that we want. So I just wanted to be like clear for people, like, do we look at Jupiter or do we look at Juno when we're trying to find that? So if you could just clarify what each of them, because I know like Juno is an asteroid and Jupiter is a planet, so some people don't even use asteroids. So which one do we look for, and just tell us the significance and the difference between both.
Whenever you're looking at asteroids, I would assume that you are a well-read, really invested in astrology, because now you're taking more of a hypothetical placement. Now, asteroids, there's asteroids, and if we go into like, we can't see them, but if you were to be an astronomer, they're real. So you can always look at them in those spaces as well. Also, when we look at asteroids, I don't know if I explained this before, they'll have more prominence if they conjunct, or if they closely aspect, conjunct, square, oppose, trine, your natal, your personal placements. Then it'll give more emphasis. But when you're looking at Jupiter or Juno, put them together. One is your marriage type, and one is the type of partner you choose. The perspectives they have, the lifestyles they're into, the locations you meet them in. Jupiter. Juno is the marriage type.
Okay.
Empire.
Tell us what you mean by marriage type.
The empire.
Type of marriage.
Yep, type of marriage, the empire. That overall, that's what Juno was protective of. Our home, our face value, what we have going on. That's why Zeus, he would change into things, into different types of animals to hide from her.
Hmm. She
There you
found him.
go. She found it.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Um, so earlier you touched on it with your own example, but I just want us to highlight it a little bit more. How do we now, so how would we, what would it mean if we have like our Jupiter and our Juno in different signs, since they work kind of together, like this type of twin, they kind of actually have twin flame energy. But so for example, me, I have my Jupiter in Scorpio and my Juno like 0 or 1 degrees Sagittarius. How would you now interpret that for me? So my marriage type versus like the type of person that I'm attracted to.
So your Juno is in Sagittarius.
And
Sag.
and Jupiter in Scorpio.
So Jupiter and Scorpio, attracting partners that are platonic,
Hmm.
attracting partners that also resource. There's a resource theme here.
Hmm.
But we want a marriage that is free flowing, expansive.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
We want a marriage that is really basis of where you teach me things, I teach you things. There's a mentor mentee, and we switch that. This could even be a marriage that needs family meetings, couples therapy. You might be into that basis there with Sagittarius being on Juno. Now, since it's semi-sextiles your Jupiter, that can bring the friction base, because now it's in a space where it's about resources. Sometimes I don't want to talk. Sometimes I just need to find the basis of security. So you're going to want a husband, a partner, a relationship that gives you, or the partner that you attract that gives you a sense of security. Really important in that with Scorpio. Emotional security and material security. Also, since it's in Scorpio, we need to have shared resources talks often. So, hey, what are we doing? We have to sit around and see, we have to sit down and have resource budget talks, mental health talks, spaces where we find middle ground. Also, this relationship opens up, since it's Scorpio, maybe the first of opening up contracts, loans, grants together, investing together. This relationship will build more when you guys do contract work. Scorpio, binding work, that kind of basis there. Also, there's a psychological factor to this. So there might be a partner that likes to do a psychological or therapeutic thing within the relationship, since there's Scorpio here. And it can get a little bit more trickier because, Scorpio gets scandalous. But we're going to leave that alone.
So from what I'm hearing I need to someone secure, stable, got money, but also an open ass marriage, a very open-minded marriage, I guess, ever-changing marriage. Okay, interesting, very interesting. So, and I'm gonna take some. I think it will be really fun. After if we take some examples from the crowd of like their Juno versus their Jupiter, and if you could kind of like break it down, that would be fun. Um, so my next question is, well, it kind of ties into that. So what if we have Jupiter conjunct planets in the chart? Does this now like affect the type of like spouse we are attracted to? So like does it color it? For example, you just said, oops, I think we just lost Umi. I'm mad I missed the beginning. I kept looking on IG. No worries, babe. On YouTube, the replay is available. And also, if you're looking at this on YouTube, you can scroll back and listen it from the beginning. So you actually don't miss anything. You could just double back on it and kind of like catch up with us if you look at it really quickly. I'm gonna let Umi come back. Just give us a second. It won't be too long. Literally, I was about to say that. Fucking Mercury retrograde fucking with us right now. Just give us a second. Because I was about to ask her a juicy ass question. I'm just gonna make sure everything's good. Cut to commercial. We're gonna cut to commercial, guys. Give us a second. Okay, guys. I just talked to Umi. She is coming back. So I'm seeing I don't know how to find my Juno. So while we wait for Umi to just reconnect with us, I can maybe share my screen and show you guys. So let me just do that really quickly. Okay, so I can't see you guys, but I'm gonna show how we could possibly find our Juno. Let me see if we can find that. So I'm using AstroSeek currently. Okay, so let's say I'm just gonna choose a random date. I'm gonna put my country. And then would give us this, and then I would go to this extended. Do we have Juno? Lunar nodes, lunar chart. Okay, so we don't actually have Juno. Hold on. Asteroids. Hold on. I'm going to see if they give all of the asteroids. Okay, so Juno. So if you guys are using astroseek.com, I'm going to go back to show you guys what I did. I pulled up the chart like usual. And then right below here, they have related charts. So you have like your draconic chart, everything like that. And I clicked asteroids. Okay. And then hopefully you guys are seeing this part. It gives you a bunch of asteroids here. And this one here says Juno in Aquarius. Oh, okay, wait. Hold on. I'm just gonna switch the tab. Share this tab. Okay, so you guys will see it now. So once you click the asteroids in the other one, it's gonna open up a new page. This is what the chart's gonna look like, and you guys will see Juno here. So you'll see other asteroids too. There's a lot. So Aries, Eros, Psyche, you'll see all of those. Vesta, Pallades, series, all of those. So you just need to on any of them, on any site that does astrology, a lot of them will have the asteroid positions, but it's like an extra option that you have to choose. So I will suggest that I will recommend that you guys pull that up. Okay. Let me know if that was clear and if that was helpful. Absolutely. It shows up on the right. Yeah, it shows up. So you see you have your whole chart here, and it's like right in the bottom right here. So you have Pallas, Juno, Vesta, and I love, like, I've searched up my Pallas. I really love the placement. Vesta, I didn't do all of them. I did Psyche as well. But there's a lot of astrologers who use asteroid positions. So but I don't want to say the biggest ones, but like we all know Chiron, and then the rest is like Ceres, Pallas, Juno, and Vesta. Those four here, a lot of people use them. A lot of astrologers talk about them too. And just from like my personal studies, it's very clarifying to read about them. So I definitely suggest that you guys do that. Let me know if that was helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I see Umi is back, so I'm going to be pulling her back up. Thank you. Perfect. So I'm going to pull Umi back up. Stop screen. Add to stage. Okay, perfect. You're here.
Yes. Mercury retrograde whooping my ass.
That's what we were saying. We're like, everyone in the comment was like, Mercury retrograde. Thank you guys for staying here with us. Thank you guys for being here. I forgot what I was asking. Do the houses that they are in indicate anything? I'm like with everything in with astrology, I'm sure absolutely. Okay, so let's get back into the questions so that I can actually open up the questions from the audience. Does anybody remember what I was saying? Because I have ADHD and it's completely lost. I'm already done.
Are we talking about the basis of the Mars and Venus? We were talking about relationships. I know we did the Juno.
Conjunct other placements.
Yes. All right.
Yes. Thank you guys. So yes. I was saying, so what if Jupiter is conjunct other placements? Does this now affect the type of partner that we're attracted to? So, like we were just using me for an example, my Jupiter is conjunct Pluto, same exact degree. So now you were even saying, like, my partner, it's in Scorpio, so it's platonic. But let's say it was in another sign, would it still bring a platonic Scorpio feel? So, like, if our Jupiter is conjunct Mercury or Venus or whatever, does it affect the type of partner, the type of husband and wife?
Definitely. More conjunctions, even in other placements in your chart, more aspects. So not even just conjunctions, all aspects in close degrees puts more emphasis to your Juno, puts more emphasis to your Jupiter. That's with anything in your chart. More stellium, if you have a stellium in the energy, there's more emphasis there. And yes, with Pluto, depending on whatever sign it's in, if there's a Pluto aspect to your Jupiter, there will be a platonic energy to your marriage, to your relationship type. And Pluto gets a little tricky. It's Scorpio. So if you have a Jupiter in Scorpio, Aquarius placements, those types of themes, Uranus, Scorpio energy, it does open up blended, maybe even going towards step parent, half siblings, open up that basis. It also, with platonic, opens up maybe certain themes with reproductive themes within the marriage, financial themes within the marriage, and also just with how it starts with platonic. You meet this person at a crossroads in your life. Naturally, you're leaving something, you're coming into some sort of rebirth in some capacity when you meet this person. And Pluto could even open up third party, where you come and meet this person through a third party factor. So if you have Jupiter in Scorpio, Juno in Scorpio, you can have found your lover through taking it from someone else. Pluto gets a little scandalous.
I was saying bad, but it's life sometimes. So let's get into Jupiter. Let's break it down even more. We always like to, break it down and go deeper. So let's break it down by modality, for example. So talk to us about, like, if we were having our Jupiter, are we going to use Jupiter for this purpose or both? For, like, let's talking about the both. Okay. So if we had our Jupiter Juno in Mutable, what would that mean for the type of marriage that we're interested in, and also for the type of spouse that we're interested in?
So with mutable energy, these energies meet their lovers a little spontaneously. Young love, teen love. So when you got that Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, young love, teen love, while in school love is very susceptible to how you'll meet your partner. These dominants also meet them spontaneously. So you meet your partner in ways, in environments where, oh shit, I didn't think this would happen. I didn't think we would go into this type of consistency. Maybe even throughout the early parts of the courting, you can feel like you don't really know this person. And it doesn't really change until we start building a certain habit with one another. So when I look at mutable energy, I'm going to look at Ice Cube. Ice Cube has a Jupiter in Virgo squaring his Gemini stellium. He's been with his wife for since they were in their 20s, teens, since before, around NWA. So young love, teen love is very susceptible with mutable energy. Now, communication is going to be a big factor to this, since these dominants, Jupiter being immutable, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, could feel like we need to, there's an elusive energy around communication. We need to find more of that consistency there. Do we talk to each other every day? Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius can even open up having a lover that you have to meet long distance. You meet them through a long distance travel while you're not even at home, or really where you feel like you're really living. You're meeting them. Maybe even transitioning through homes, environments. Another thing with mutable energy, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, is that since communication can be elusive, many times mutables can have ghosted their husband before, or their wife, or their partner. And then after they like ghost them and like do a few inconsistent dating periods, they now open up that initiative. That's another thing with mutable energy, that it can start off in ways where it's still not too sure, spontaneous. Also, mutable energy, Gemini, especially Gemini, the Gemini bases, they can double back. Mutable energy are known to do that, where they can date, and they just go back to somebody that they knew in high school. They knew from their hometown. Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius. Like Ashanti. With her Jupiter being in Virgo squaring her Sagittarius moon, she had to double back. And a lot of mutables right now, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, are having some blasts from the past, sneaking up in their DMs, asking them, how you doing? Looking for some closure. So that's that energy there with mutable. What's good? I haven't seen you in 10 years.
Someone said Gemini loves double backing. And yeah, that's what you just said. Hold on. So we did mutable. So let's do for the other two as well. Let's do cardinal. So what would we be looking for if our Jupiter and our Juno was in cardinal signs? What does that tell us about our marriage person, or our spouse, our future or current spouse, I would say?
Cardinal. So with cardinal energy, that a lot of the Jupiter and Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, they're going to need a lot of that independence, autonomy in their relationship. So you do you, I do me. We come together as whole people. So these energies require some sort of independence, self-sufficiency, and also prioritizing your ambitions. Capricorn, Aries, Libra, and Cancer can feel like they need to really find partners that think about 5-year goals, 10-year goals, 15-year goals, really process that. If not, they can be afraid of that codependency that can come from partnerships. Also, cardinals have ideals. So they'll be really big on not repeating what they come from. Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. So they may wait. That's another thing with these types of dominance, where they're like, until I have the perfect situation going on, I won't start a family till then. Especially Aries and Libra, these energies might drag it out, especially Libra, drag out family building, marriage, until they find that ideal partner, or it comes in an ideal way. No face, no case. Also with cardinal energy, entrepreneurs and wanting to start family businesses are really strong within these Jupiters and Junos. Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. Now I'm going to use Cardi for an example. And you see her big thing was Offset, is that they did business together. They build a brand together. And that's going to be really big for cardinals. Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, that outside of this love affair, we have something that we can leave behind. We have something, we have a strong work ethic together. We put aside our feelings to build this family structure. And that's why these dominants, especially Libra, can play this. It's better to project a perfect family image, and it's better to push that forth than because this energy can operate in superficial themes. So they're, especially Libra, they add this aesthetic to it. So it's really important for cardinals to make sure they don't operate in spaces where they feel like their childhood was depleting them making them feel restrictive. So cardinals are really big in that. If I don't see a future with you, I don't know if I can start a family with you. Now, if I want to break down in certain spaces with Cancer, Cancer is going to want a lot of that sense of family with their partner. Cancer dominance, especially Jupiter being Cancer, until they really bring you home, or Juno bring you home into their family dynamics, they don't really know you that well. They don't really like you that much. Moon energy just in synastry can open up baby making energy because I feel a familiarness with you. Libra energy is going to, Jupiter and Libra, Juno and Libra is going to need you to talk to them nice, and they're going to really have to work on their codependency, where they're not always this Batman Robin energy. They have to find their own basis. But Libra's Venus, all Venus dynamics are really big on talk to me nice. They like very charming partners. Capricorn, since Jupiter's exalted in Cancer, Jupiter's full in Capricorn. So Capricorn might find delays, just like Aquarius, delays in marriage, where it's not until their Saturn return that they feel like marriage and partnership really becomes secure. Aquarius and Capricorn. Now, these may also be individuals that desire older partners, or feel like it's not till they're older they find the right partners. So those spaces as well. And since it's in fall, Aquarius and Capricorn can be dominants that don't get married. Especially Aquarius. They live like those types of marriage where it's because we live together for long, we are married, we're like, I'm trying to find the word, but Aquarius can fall into that a lot, where they go into life partners.
Like roommates?
Not roommates, because they're buddies and they're best friends. And I know those who have Aquarius can see what I mean, where they're buddies, best friends, but they never get the paperwork going. I mean, a lot of Aquarius is like that. Domestic partnership. Yep.
Domestic partnership. Yeah. Over here, we call that conjoint fait in French. Yeah, it's like people who live together, they have kids, they do everything but marry, basically. Like everything. They'll even have houses together. Yeah, domestic partnerships. Common law. Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead, Umi. Someone had a good question. I'm gonna pull up after. Fevin had a good question, but continue. Were we finished with Cardinal?
Yeah, with the Cardinal energy. They're just gonna need that sense of especially, and also with Aries. Aries may not like, and that's another thing with Cardinal. If we're gonna look at men, Cardinals, they're easily can separate family and outside life. It's two separate things. And with Aries, Jupiter and Aries, that's going to be important. What I've built with my family and who I am as an individual. So those who have Aries, Mars dominance, these can really struggle with marriage and commitment and just really meshing with others, because I'm always going to be my own person. So that's the only thing with like having Aries. It's it does go into all Cardinals can jump into marriage early, can jump into this energy of feeling like I want to grow up quick. I want to do all the grown up things. Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. But Aries has to fight between me versus we in some way.
I have a question. As you're talking, I remember. So we did our moon sign and mommy issues live stream. If you guys are looking at this on the replay, it's on the channel. Go find it, and that was very informative. And I remember you talking about how like Sagittarius women are usually the ones who have a hard time being moms, and like some of them will probably not have children this lifetime. Is that something similar with marriage as well, or is it like there's no link between that?
With fire women, because I'm gonna look at Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. Now with fire women, that is similar to how they come into motherhood, because fire women, they feel masculine themselves, they feel dominant themselves. So how do I really come into this space where I need to be submissive? Or what is submission? Because many times fire women can be first daughters, other first daughters, only daughters, that basis there. So it comes in the same way with marriage. And whoever is with a fire dominant woman, they're going to have to know that this is the lady of the house. This is a very strong, fiery woman dominant woman in some kind of capacity. They're usually only daughters. It's really strong with fire women, especially Aries and Leo, being significant daughters in their family. So ready with that. So even in motherhood and in relationships, these are women that may feel like they don't fit into gender roles, or they marry partners who don't force them to.
I'm gonna pull up a question. Thank you for that, Umi. I'm gonna pull up a question from the chat just to clarify. So someone said, I'm getting confused on how to take the information. If we are saying Jupiter is the spouse and Juno is are we saying Jupiter is the spouse and Juno is the way we relate to marriage?
Yep. Jupiter is the actual, since it's a personal planet, person. Where it's the actual individual, the environment. Whereas Juno is the marriage archetype, what you like, what you're comfortable in. Juno. Okay. Even when you look at asteroids, they're like hypothetical, so they give you more of the understanding of the bigger picture, the evolved picture. Whereas your personal planets are what they actually are, what is actually transiting, and more of the tangible things. But yep, Jupiter is going to be the actual individual place, whereas Juno will be the overall picture, the marriage type.
I think we're only missing fixed. Yeah, if you can break down if we have our Jupiter Juno in fixed, and what does it mean for the type of person we're attracted to as our spouse, as well as the type of marriage environment that we like.
So Jupiter in fixed. Now, these are the resource signs. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius are always worried about their finances. So that's going to be important when you have a Jupiter in Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, and a Juno. Jupiter is the individual that you will attract, the location, and Juno is the overall marriage type. When you have these in fixed placements, it's very important that you guys have money talks, resource talks, budget talks. It'll be very important for you to really to really have these conversations, because these could be deal breakers for you, where your baggage, my baggage becomes overwhelming. Now, with Scorpio and Aquarius, which can be known to open up blended families, Aquarius and Scorpio energy, where step parents have siblings, meeting partners who have already been married before, had lives before you, partnerships, homes, depth before you, is very susceptible to those who have Scorpio and Aquarius in their chart, Jupiter energy, Juno energy. So you're going to have to be a little bit more open-minded and realize that your marriage is going to be a little bit more tailored for you. And Scorpio and Aquarius, especially Scorpio, can be known to be a third-party factor. It's actually really common for Scorpio and Aquarius to feel like they had to move someone out of the way to find their lover. Or may the best man, woman win to find their lover. Now with Leo placements, they're going to need a lot of that admiration. And since Leo can already be the only child, the first child, a center in their family, Leo is going to need that in love, where they feel showcased, they feel royal. This may even be an indirect feeling of where they want to feel love bombed. So Leo is going to really need that. And whenever I meet, I do sessions with clients who are, especially in synastry, who are dating Leos, who have Leo energy. I put emphasis on that they will feel very unhappy if they're not admired by their lover. Now, Taurus is going to need a sense of stability and security. So Taurus energy may not budge until they see material resource. If they don't see any type of material security, Taurus energy may stay with what they know, especially Taurus placements, Jupiter and Juno. But if it aspects the moon as well, if it aspects together, Taurus energy can really big on, I'll just stay with a parent, a support system until I feel you are ready to secure me in that way. And even when you have Taurus placements, you can still have a backup plan. Just in case. Scorpio is the psychologist of the chart. So Scorpio is going to need someone that helps them dive into the deeper depths of their mind. Scorpio's going to need a partner that also understands, or may find partners that like to play psychological games and like to do psychological types of, since it's Mars, challenges. So, and even if this energy is unevolved, Scorpio energy and Jupiter and Juno can just find partnerships where they naturally meet overwhelmed people that they always have to bring into some sort of crossroads therapeutic session where they're the psychologist as well, and vice versa. But in fixed signs, before anything, we have to talk about the baggage that we're already aware of before we come into this partnership. So it doesn't be the reason that we can't separate, we can't move on, we can't progress, however the case may be. Because when fixed sign is connected to you owe me, or I met you when you were going through this, or I helped you get rid of this, or maintain this. That's why fixed is the most trickiest. And any individuals who have Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius dominance, and also in Jupiter and Juno energy, may find that they'll meet partners that are stalkers, that can be very vindictive, revengeful. And if you have children with these people, forget about it. If you have these types of placements, there could be an ongoing war of, we're not really together anymore, so how do we really co-parent? So fixed energy, early on, it shows you that there's baggage here, and can you afford this? That's why it's important to have budget talks, resource talks. I see someone said that there's which chart is the most compatible.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull up some questions from the audience. So someone was saying which placement is more accurate. Okay, is it? Yeah, it's the same person. So which chart is more accurate for looking into the Jupiter Juno spouse and chart? Some of us have completely different charts when it comes to Vedic and traditional and Western.
Whenever you're trying to look between Vedic and tropical, look towards your degrees. See where the energy centers with degree placements, and those will really help you with looking at what to resonate with. Where does degrees sit in? Now, Vedic astrology is always going to go towards the constellations. It's actually what's moving at the current moment, and tropical energy is by the season. But degrees is what helps you the most. And when we look at degrees and astrology on a bigger level, it wants to help you build predictions. So we're really for astrology, you're looking for transits as well to help you build more of the bigger picture. But degrees is where that's going to center. Also, where do you feel more like? And another thing too, I want to center with astrology. Tropical is more of our temperament. Vedic is prediction, since it's connected to degrees, constellations. One thing with that. Also, where do you resonate the most with? That's always important too. It's up to you. Where do you feel like you resonate the most with? What you've attracted the most in your life? Which placement makes more sense?
Also, correct me if I'm wrong. Vedic doesn't use outer planets and asteroids, right?
Because they want to center predictions. But then if you want to go into other parts of Vedic, what tropical doesn't use, the nakshatras, right? They don't use that. And Vedic is deep into that. So it's just more on the basis of Vedic likes the prediction part. Because if you read Vedic astrology, they're like, you have 8th house, you will die. Like 35, where tropical does not do that. It gives more of an overview of your personality type. It wants to pinpoint specific because it works with the constellations. But it doesn't consider outer planets, because outer planets don't really affect us as a humanity. We can't really see some of them even on a telescope.
Absolutely makes sense. Just for this question with this person with the Juno, basically I would just like you said too, just look at it in Western, because it wouldn't make sense in Vedic since they don't really use it. We have another question here. So I don't think I need to read the questions because we see them on the screen, but Let me know if you can. Should I read the questions or
In the
should we
ninth
read it?
house, and I
Yeah.
despise my mother, who is a triple Sag. I cannot possibly father tolerating that as a spouse. Okay. So Jupiter, Sagittarius, and mom is a Sag, triple Sag. All right. Now, with that, it just opens up what we need to learn. Because that's what your natal chart is as well. What we've gotten through our parents' connection, what is our strengths and what is our weaknesses. So when you would look at, okay, my mom's a triple Sag and my Jupiter's in Sag, that means that a very important thing for me is that we need to have clear communication with my partner. Since my mom's a triple Sag, maybe I was more talked at than talked with. I wasn't allowed to speak up, have a voice. Her inconsistencies, her thoughts, her ideas, her perspectives always took dominance. Another thing with Sagittarius, since it's fiery, this can be an energy that asks you to watch your tone. It's not what you're saying that's wrong. It's how you're wording it and your tone behind it that can be a little tricky. So it's going to be important for you when you come into your partnership that your partner is conscious of their tone, of not their wording, but the energy of how they express it to you. Since that could be something that pissed you off with your mom or hurt you. Another thing with Sagittarius energy, you're going to look for a partner that helps you find stability, consistency. You want something consistent. Since mom's a triple Sag, there could be things going on that the things that when you were growing up where you felt mom was unreliable in. So you're going to really need someone that's reliable. So when you look at your parents' chart, your parents' placements, your chart, it's their unconscious emotions, lessons, themes that they were going through that now become your testimonies, life path, understandings for them.
And what would you say would be some of the positive like traits or like a positive manifestation of Jupiter and Sag? So even for Gabriella, who's saying like, I totally get it. You're like, I cannot be anywhere close to this energy because yeah, trauma. But maybe there's just some also higher vibration energies of this of Jupiter and Sag that could still very much be attractive to you. So Umi, can you just talk to us a little bit about what that would look like? So let's just help Gabriella be able to recognize that when she sees it.
Well, since your natal chart is already what you come from, Sagittarius here, and having a triple mutable mom, you could, like foreigners, meet your lover in travels. You could come from young love, teen love, while in school love yourself. You're susceptible to that yourself, or you might meet your lover while you were going to school, while you were just coming into some sort of education. That basis there, since mom is a triple Sag and you have Sag energy, so you can be that basis as well. Maybe you might meet your lover in a more spontaneous way. That's why it could be in travels, while you're on journey, that basis there. And Sagittarius is multicultural. They're getting closer to They're getting closer to Capricorn, and they're also in between Capricorn and Scorpio, which open up more shared resources, inclusion, and also Capricorn culture. So when you have Jupiter and Sagittarius, you might have a partner that's from another country, mutable in general, from another country, from another space. So this is the positive of that. Sagittarius, Gemini placement, especially Sagittarius, can even open up in your life where you can be bilingual, trilingual. We're okay with learning things that are different, learning different perspectives. And also Sagittarius means that you like an adventurous partner. So you like a partner that's going to go on road trips with you, travel with you, take courses, go to therapy with you, where there's a fearlessness in wanting to take this adventure with you. Is really big for Gemini and Sagittarius. These partners, these placements really love that. Let's go on hikes together. Let's go on journeys, trips together. Let's build our mind together. Best friends energy is really strong between Gemini and Sagittarius.
I like that. Gabriella, let us know if that brings a little bit more clarity to that placement. So guys, we're gonna take some more questions. Comment down below your Juno and your Jupiter. And Umi, I would really like for you to be able to and yeah, add the house, add the signs. Kind of like how you did with me. So like, oh, Jupiter and Scorpio, Juno and Sag, this is what it could possibly mean. So we could give some people some clarity. We're gonna try to take as much as possible, guys. We're gonna be on for maybe the next 15 minutes. So we're going to try to take as much questions as possible. But thank you for that. Gabriella is saying, appreciate it. Always dated abroad the last 10 years with foreigners. Yes. So you see the energy is definitely making sense without it, totally relating to your mom. Love that. Love that. Okay, so we have another question. Let me see what we have. If we want to determine if a specific person is good marriage material, do you compare each other's Jupiter and Juno or just look at yours and how they match up to that? That's a good question. And yes, it makes sense. Are we looking at this in terms of synastry, Umi? That's a really good question. Like, do our Jupiters need to like be in some sort of synastry for it to work, or is it just like our Jupiter and our Juno?
It would need to have some sort of compatibility, good aspects with anything, like especially with moon. This is your home. This is how you're going to build a family. If you're squaring your partner's moon, bad aspect, and that means when we come under one roof, we're going to struggle. When it comes to rearing children, we're going to struggle. Jupiter is going to open up not only just the marriage type, but the perspectives, the teachings, the mentorship that you want within the house. Jupiter opens just the opposition of Mercury. It opens up all the everyday habits. So when your Jupiter is not aspecting your partner's Jupiter well, that means that you guys could be teaching the kids two different things. Taking the kids to hobbies, habits that are completely opposite of each other. Where they're like, okay, when I'm with mom and dad, when I'm with dad, I do this. When I'm with mom, or when I'm with one parent, I do this. That is completely out of consistency with what I do with the other parent. And also what they teach us, how they speak to us is different. It clashes. So that's going to be very important when you do synastry. That Jupiter are where we would want to travel, where we would want to, what we want to teach our kids, what we want to learn within each other, what we're interested in, how we communicate with one another, our beliefs with one another. There has to have some balance there, or the kids may have one parent that's an atheist and one parent that's a holy roller. They're like, yo, I don't know. That's going to happen, especially when it's coming into synastry. These things have to at least have some sort of compatibility.
Oops, sorry, I was muted. I said thank you for that. It makes sense. This is so funny. I love this comment. My Jupiter in Scorpio. I do love saving these mentally challenged men. I'm just laughing because I have I can't relate. I would love to know what it means if both are in the same sign. That's a good question. Thank you for that.
When two energies are in the same sign, we know each other, we see each other very clearly. But when there's two, especially Jupiter, Sun, Mars, placements that can be ego-driven, more masculine-based, energies that want to domineer, be the leader in, and those are going to be fire placements, fire planets. It can have an energy where it's like combust, we clash. It could bring it could bring the basis of where we see things equally, we see things the same. But where does it come into the point where who's first, who's the only, whose idea is more prominent, whose voice, mind?
Is this for
placements?
No, I'm just saying, is this for Jupiter and Juno in the same sign and same house?
Well, I was looking at if it was the same Jupiter, like a Jupiter conjunction or in a Juno conjunction.
In partner, like synastry.
But if it's in Juno and Jupiter, that's great. That means that you're going to find a partner that makes sense to your marriage.
I am raspberry. Just clarify, because that I think they put that they have both. Okay, yeah. They have both Jupiter and Juno in Libra. So I think that's what they meant. Like, what does it mean when you have Jupiter and Juno in the same sign? And yeah, same sign.
Which is great. That means that the energy that the actual tangible energy that you will attract will connect to the marriage type on a soul level that you seek. Since it's in Libra, ideals, it's cardinal. So this might be a person that wants to wait until they have that perfect partner, perfect time with career, have their milestones, their goalposts in order before they take the leap. Libra can be big, no face, no case. That kind of basis there. So this could be that theme. Since it's in the third house does bring early upbringings, early hometown themes. So since it's in the third house, it could be the basis where she might already know who she's going to marry. Maybe she's with her. Maybe she's with that person. I am raspberry. Are you in a relationship?
Look at you putting people on the spot.
sorry, I'm just put me on the spot.
Let me see what she said. Oh, I like this question too. We're waiting for I am raspberry, but I like this question too.
Put it in the chat to see. No, but we found each other after dreaming about each other. Okay. All right. Because we're gonna need something a little bit more karmic here, or there's ideals. I'm gonna wait until it's perfect timing. So we also if Jupiter and Juno don't complement, will they lead to toxic interactions? Yes. Because you're attracting people that doesn't make sense. Attracting people, environments, those overall spaces that doesn't make sense to the marriage type that you seek on a soul level. That's best for you on a soul level. I'm one of those people. Word. Jupiter in Virgo, Juno in Aquarius. Or something more method, like, everyday routine, something even I'll even open up basic, right? Normal. But then simple. My marriage, simple, minimal, like acts of service is the partners that I'll seek. Energies that give me acts of service, which I know I need. But then I want this kind of Aquarius marriage where we're like power and we're like futuristic, but I'm not pick the most practical partners though. That are like, scary.
Hold on, I'm just looking at the chat, and something came in my mind when you're like Aquarius marriage. I'm like, open marriage? Sister wife?
And I'll pick men that are like, what is wrong with you? Like, have some decorum.
Okay. Let me the comments are going crazy, so I don't even know where we were. I'm so sorry, guys, if ever I skipped over something. So let's do some combinations of Jupiter and Juno. So someone said Jupiter Virgo, like you, and Juno Taurus.
Now this is good. This is a trine. So it flows. Naturally wants a very practical, grounding partner. Jupiter being in Virgo, seeking a partnership, seeking the actual person, energy, acts of service. Hey, babe, I'll take the trash out. Hey, babe, I got this. Don't worry about it. I picked up the kids. Hey, babe, the energy where on an everyday basis, you give me ease. You help me take care of my errands. You put me in spaces where we can build a planner together. We do scheduling together. And since Juno trines, Juno just opens up a marriage where because of that, we can have strong resources, not always live in scarcity because we're minimalists. We don't ask much out of each other. So as long as we keep our word and we keep things on a basis where every day, nothing is spontaneous, nothing crazy. We got to keep things in a way where we stay practical. I need something that builds me in practicality. Now, Taurus does bring in a little bit of that Scorpio energy. So Juno can open up a marriage that does ask you, how do you make something non-traditional practical? Also, Jupiter and Juno may mean you like a simple partner, a simple man. I always think of I'm a simple man. Whenever I think of Jupiter and Virgo energy, it's that basis there. You might find that you like a partner that does the same thing every day. Like you can keep tabs on them because they usually have a specific habit routine. That could be another
reliable.
Yes. That could be another thing that pisses you off too, is the fact that they stay routined, boring in certain ways as well.
All right, so we're gonna like speed date this, okay? So like get ready because we're going quick. Okay, Jupiter, Juno in Sagittarius, Jupiter in Aries.
Hey, good. Another trine. So energy that flows with fire. So that means the basis there with having Aries and Sagittarius, an adventurous marriage. Codependency, that's not going to be a big basis here. We're going to need it. Independent individuals coming together. You got to have your own activities. I have my own activities. With the energy being there in third house, it does open up the energy where it wants that mental. We have to be able to communicate with each other. And since there's Sagittarius and Aries here, energy that isn't afraid of my tone, isn't afraid of, doesn't really see this energy as being aggressive, finds my intensity or energy that can come off as aggressive, sexy. Also, since this is an energy, if it was in more of a feminine space, this will make you more of a leader, a dominant in your marriage. So you may find that you attract water, Earth, Venus, Neptunian, Moon, men. Since Maddie, just looking at it since it's Maddie.
Okay.
A basis there.
We got Juno in Libra and Jupiter in Scorpio.
So Juno energy being in Libra, the overall marriage type. In Libra, we're going to need that basis of fair and square, that equality. You're going to want a marriage that opens up justice. When I say justice, the basis of, we always talk about where things are not equal, we're right and wrong. Also, with energy being there in Libra, this might be a marriage where there's a little aesthetic factor to it. We want to, when we step as a family, we step. We look good. We have our visuals in order. We may even be certain types of, when I think of Libra, I think of like the Smiths, relationship goals. Now, the Jupiter being Scorpio, like I was speaking before, it's needing a partner that gives you a sense of security. Early on, talking about the budget talks. Now, since it is Scorpio and then Libra comes here, it does semi-sextile. So when you have Scorpio and Libra coming together, you might find that in life that your ideals don't always come about. Because with Libra is like, okay, what are we showcasing? What's the overall visual? But Scorpio is the deeper depths, the things that could be a little ugly. So when you have Jupiter and Libra in this way, try to be conscious of where you can fake it to make it, where you don't stay codependent in relationships because there's already been depths, investments there. And where you're a little bit more open-minded, since Jupiter and Scorpio can make you attract partners that ask you to take on a little bit of their baggage with you, or open more of your family picture, your family vision. Whereas Libra might stay stuck in what their ideal is. So that can be the basis as well, where we're picking partners that doesn't fit into our ideals. Where Libra could be, so where certain placements would be more open to like blended families, right? Like Scorpio, Aquarius, or if forced to do it. Libra can be one of those signs where they really struggle with not having all their kids with one man, one partner. You know what I'm saying? Cardinals in general can struggle with that. Because they're like, my kids are in different homes. Oh no, I don't have that control. So this is going to be a thing that could come with having Juno and Libra, Jupiter and Scorpio, where we meet partners that may early on be deal breakers to this ideal that we have within our family, how we expect the family vision. It's semi-sextiles.
So we did a fire trine, a earth trine. So now we have a water trine. So Jupiter in Cancer and Juno in Scorpio.
Jupiter in Cancer. Yep. So a water trine. Jupiter in Cancer, 4th house. Juno in Scorpio, 7th house. Okay. So the house is square, but the signs trine. So with energy of water, always needing a partner who understands, who has emotional intelligence, who understands your sense of sensitivity. With Jupiter being Cancer, wanting a family-oriented person, an energy that is understanding of their family tree, how things could be hereditary in life. Juno and Scorpio, the overall marriage theme is platonic. And whenever there's Scorpio in the factor, they can open up a third-party energy. That's why Scorpio can, in Aquarius, Uranus being exalted in Aquarius, can open up blended families naturally. Scorpios are very likely to be part of like being stepkids, very likely in their life in some sort of capacity, or blended families. So this does open a theme to your marriage, and it is in the 7th house. So since it's sitting in the 7th house basis and you have any planets there, but this is a dominant house, you can already be attracting this. Also, when there's ever always Scorpio in the house, there or in any form, there is a space where you feel like you must be a psychologist, a therapist to your lover. You have to push them mentally, challenge them mentally. You're a crossroads. Scorpio can feel like when they meet a lot of their lovers, they're helping their lovers walk through the dark of the night, dark of the soul, in some capacity.
I have Jupiter 4th house conjunct Venus in Sagittarius, with Juno also in Sagittarius. So how does Venus affect my Jupiter in that case? I guess their spouse.
Jupiter in the 4th house, Venus in Sagittarius, Juno in Sagittarius. So in the 4th house basis, with overall, just it's in the 4th house, this just open up movement, meeting partners in certain capacities, young love, teen love. This is the early parts of the chart. There's also a basis as well with meeting partners spontaneously. This opens up with Sagittarius. In the 4th house energy, when energies come into the 4th house, can you live with this person? Where 4th house placements, we can have a great time when we're living in different spaces. Honeymoon period when we're going through the dating space. But then when it's time for us to live under one roof, things get tricky. Whoever has 4th house placements can feel like they always, even with parents, who's the head honcho? Who's the king crab here? 4th house already opens up in life. You want your own home. You need your own home. You need your own territory, and you're very protective of your territory. 4th house evens open up working from home, working remote. These are natural placements for that when you have it in the 4th house. So when you have Jupiter and all these placements here, that could be the struggle. Whose word leads the house? What mind leads the house? Perspective leads the house. Whose word is law? You could even come from that, where one parent's word was law. Or this energy of not strong communication, mental consistency in the 4th house. But that's just that basis there with the 4th house energy, where who's the king crab? 4th house, Cancer. So that's just going to be the only theme with that. And Cancer and Sagittarius energy being in the 4th, not the best aspect, fire and water. That's just another thing too. How do we really balance out the stability, the consistency there? Even on the rising, that would make it a Virgo rising. So already we need to find habits with one another, related like that mental relatability with one another, and it just picks up to the 4th house. That's the only thing with that. Once it comes to living, this can even open up meeting your partner long distance. Sagittarius is known to have, and Piscean and Jupiterian, known to start a long distance, not living in the same state, having to drive to their lover in some capacity.
So someone says, so with my Jupiter and Cap, I guess they're asking for clarification. I want someone hardworking and financially secure, but with with Juno and Pisces, I want a marriage that's like dreamy or spiritual. So they're asking you for clarity and confirmation.
With Jupiter and Cap, yep, wanting someone that's hardworking, someone that gives you that long-term planning. Capricorn and Aquarius, Saturn placements could even open up looking for a father figure in your partner, a maternal, paternal energy in your partner, where you want to unpack this childhood wound, that kind of basis there, with Jupiter being Cap. So definitely going to seek that. And with the Juno energy being in Piscean, two things. It can open up, yes, spiritual, dreamy, but also, will this ever happen to me? Will I ever get married? Is this probable in my life? Because that's what Piscean opens up in general when you have it in dominance. Will I ever be able to see this come true? Is this reality, or is this my imagination? Will this ever become tangible, or is this something that always stays in an intangible space? Since Pisces rules that. That's going to be the thing with having that Capricorn and Piscean. Because Capricorn can be the realist, the practical. If it doesn't make concrete, if it's not concrete, it doesn't make sense. And Pisces is none of that. So these coming together can create I don't know if this will ever happen to me.
So someone, I think this is like a relationship we're talking about here. I'm just gonna pull it up. So a Juno Libra and a Juno Sagittarius in a relationship.
Sagittarius, all right. So a sextile, air and fire. Juno and Libra with Juno and Sagittarius. So these are the marriage types. It's a sextile. It works. The only thing with Libra is going to have that cardinal energy. So it's going to have those ideals within the marriage, especially since Libra is a partnership sign, how we both come together. So Libra is big on, if I'm going to stand by your side, and if I'm going to let everyone know that I'm with you, we have to have a certain type of vision, aesthetic, ideal, a social consciousness to it. Sagittarius may not care about that. Sagittarius may have started things very spontaneously. Sagittarius may still be questioning what type of marriage they're looking for. It might be something that I have to work on every day. Every day I figure out what I like or what builds up to marriage. Whereas Libra might already had a picket fence already before, since a kid, already had their ideal already. So that'll be the basis with this relationship. But since it's sextiles, it can understand each other, it can flow, since energy can open up friendship. And through friendship, we can grow, we can learn. But that can be the thing as well, where it can stay there. Since Libra can be like, all right, there are certain types of ideals that I want and vision I want, and Sagittarius can be a little rugged. I'm thinking about Cardi and Sagittarius, Cardi and Offset. Sagittarius, Libra. Where Libra might be like, hey, when we got to step together. We got to make this shit look like we together. And Sagittarius is like, relax, let's just flow. Or Sagittarius can even just not even be listening sometimes, Mutable, or still needing that energy of reminding. So I think of it that way too. They can flow and understand each other if they remain friends. Because Libra Cardinals can turn everything into micromanaging. and Mutables are going to be like, forget about it. I choose on my time. That kind of basis there.
So guys, we're going to be pulling out the last couple of questions, just letting you guys know. So someone said, I've been single for 8+ years. I feel like I'm ready to start attracting a meaningful partnership. I have first Juno in Cancer, and then Jupiter and Libra, 4th house. Okay. Yeah. So Juno in Cancer in the 1st house and Jupiter in Libra, 4th house.
So Jupiter in Libra, 4th house squares the Juno. So there's already a square there. Now I'm going to need to open up this single for 8 years, because that opens up Pluto, Scorpio fixed in some way, because that would be energy that would really be centering their sacral chakra. So I want to see how whatever that fixed sign is, how it's aspecting your Juno and your Juno and Jupiter energy. Now, since it's squares, family ideals. We're meeting partners where they don't really make sense to the family that we're trying to build. Now, since we already have Juno in Cancer, you may naturally meet partners that are familiar to you. But since that Libra energy can have ideals, There's always this basis of, I don't know how to bring you to the public. Jupiter and Cancer and Libra can have this basis where we're in the house, we're chilling in the home. You even met my family. We're chilling. But when it comes to now letting everyone know we're together, it just never goes there. It just can never go to the social part. So that can be the basis for you. Since you have Libra and Cancer energy, this is our strong spaces for marriage, companionship, relatability. But since it squares, when it gets to the space where it's time for us to let the world know or let society know that we go together, it just hits a friction there, friction point. Also, since there's Cardinal can already open up culture clash. Or I don't know if you can meet my family. Those are the biggest things. Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, they really like you if they let you go meet their family, because they're trying to escape their own family sometimes. So that's another energy too, but it can be a struggle.
I think she's saying yes for the Scorpio energy, by the way.
Scorpio, not seeing.
No, like you said, if she had Scorpio for the sacral chakra, and she said yep.
All right, so yeah, so Scorpio is going to be, so Scorpios, since they're like sexual signs, not like Virgo though. So Scorpios, they're very susceptible to practice abstinence or celibacy. Like you break a Scorpio's heart, they're gonna like 10 years of not having sex. Like no man or woman is gonna get me, or go through that kind of theme there. So whenever I see someone that's like, I've had a long-term period of not really being intimate, there's usually some Virgo and Scorpio in there, because something stung them and they're like, you know what? I need to purge this shit. Like no one, like I need to protect and defend my sacral chakra.
I love that. So as we're ending, so we're gonna end with the questions here, guys. But you guys know we always try to come back and give you guys more. Definitely for those of you guys who are here. Before I answer more questions, Umi, I just want to always plug that Umi has dropped her new Patreon, where she's doing more in-depth breakdowns, more astrology teaching. She's starting live sessions in like live Zoom sessions, group sessions in January. So make sure to get into the Patreon, guys. She's going to be breaking down this like way more, where we can touch every single sign and everything. That there was a lot that dropped in the Patreon even just this week, with decans, with just so much. So just make sure to join the Patreon. You guys get 40% off all sessions till the first week of January, plus so much perks. Just look for Umi Jenevieve on Patreon or just on any of her channels. So I just always have to do that plug there, because I know that Patreon is just where you're at right now, and it's the space that you're building, the community that you're building. And I love being able to do this with you, because it gives people just like a sense of what it is that you really do, and like just the knowledge and the in-depth understanding and understanding that you have about this. So I always just love putting that on display for people. But if you guys want the real in-depth stuff, make sure to hop on that Patreon or get a reading. So my last question for you, Umi, since we talked about Jupiter being marriage, and Jupiter being the type of like person that we're attracted to, but also marriage when it comes to marriage. Jupiter is in Taurus right now. So with Jupiter representing this type of marriage archetype, what does this mean for us that it's in Taurus? And plus it's moving out of Taurus soon. It's going to be moving into Gemini next year. So what does this mean for us as a collective?
All right, perfect. So with Jupiter and Taurus, it opened up all forms of intimacy this entire year. Now, this is especially for the fixed signs. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, some of you are getting married, having children, coming into spaces where we're having reunions with past lovers. And also, since we do have a Pluto in Capricorn, which can be shifting the household, North Node in Aries and South Node in Libra, which can be asking, okay, am I aligned with the right person? There have been divorces, but more divorces, long-term breakups. Because remember, fixed is more of investing, depth, foundation building. So with Jupiter being Taurus, it's either we're getting married and starting a foundation, or we're building we're separating from a long-term foundation. So divorces and things of sort. But just also in the positive for the fixed, many of them are getting engaged, children, that basis there. Now for the fixed signs, especially around the summer, it was a honeymoon period. We had Venus and Mars and Leo. So the fixed signs throughout the summer, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus, it really opened up from June to September when Jupiter went retrograde and Venus went direct. Is this really my person? Do I really want to connect with this person? How can I grow with this person? And these leaps. Now, again, we did have placements, especially when Jupiter went retrograde, where it could have gotten a little tricky from September to now. Only tricky because we really, like we spoke with fixed signs, resource, budget talks. Can we afford what both of us come with? Is going to be really important for these placements. But it's really centering that right now. And since we have a Saturn in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, blast from the past, rekindling, closure love, is also highly in the cosmos as well. So the mutables right now, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, we might have some blasts from the past sliding in the DM, or meeting people based on reunions and meeting old friends through that, like meeting people through those environments. But for the fixed signs, you guys have really been centered this year. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius when it comes to these types of announcements. It's definitely for Jupiter and Taurus. And right now, since Jupiter is retrograde, it's going to go direct by the end of this month. So we're going to come back to those conversations, fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, that we were talking about in September. We round that up. We come back to these talks. So there's going to be even more on a collective level as we get to the later parts of this month into early next year. More announcements of couples coming together, separating, childbirths, until about May, when Jupiter now moves into Gemini. And then now it'll center the mutables. Hey, mutables, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius. It's time for you guys to get married, have babies, get your first big location, come a little bit out of this fog that you guys have been in for this year, since Saturn is in Pisces. Yay.
Thank you so much, Umi. Thank you as always. There's just always so much love for you, like you guys can see in the chat. Just so much love. Thank you guys. Thank everyone for being here. You guys were super duper, super duper active. I just love like interacting with you guys in the chat. You guys are so funny. I love that you guys are so funny, so transparent. You literally put it out there. And we love that. So we have, what do we have coming up? We have our end of the year forecast that will be coming, our January forecast that's going to be coming at the end of the month. And we may or may not have something coming in between that, but you guys already know the deal. Just check on our Instagrams, follow both me and Umi at Sharice Fierce on Instagram, at Umi Jenevieve on Instagram, and we'll let you guys know. But for sure, we have the January forecast coming the end of the month, and we're going to be posting the date for that soon. So I hope to see you guys there. It's going to be our little like New Year's Eve ish type of party. We're going to get ready for 2024. This forecast is going to be a little bit special because not only we're going to talk about January, but we're going to talk a tiny sneak peek into the 2024 year, like the tiniest. But make sure that you guys are there because it's going to be bomb. So that's what we have coming up for next. But there's like a lot of things dropping still in the Patreon. So just make sure you guys are still there. And thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you, Umi, so much for just dropping wisdom on us all the time. This is always so informative, always so insightful. And like, I learn something every single time. I'm hosting, but I'm learning at the same time, which I love. Best of both worlds.
Thank you, each and everyone. Thank you as well, Sharice, for allowing me on the growth project. Thank you for the confirmations. You guys keep me going. So appreciative. I love this stuff, and I hope it shows. I really love Astro. So thank you to the ancestors, man.
So we love you too. The Astro community love you. And we can't wait to see where you go with this. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.